Okay, this is my third try at getting this done. Um, Still flashing, excuse me. So I'm hoping that this is taping, although I don't know. Tish doesn't know either, but she came by. So today we were supposed to be doing a 6-week checkup on our progress through the our Corona confinement retreat, but I'm taking a break from that path for today, and I'm calling it To Be Perfectly Honest. Because, to be perfectly honest, I'm having one of those days, one of the bad days. I was thinking about not doing today's video at all. And then I said no. When I started this series, it was to do it no matter what, whether, I was up or down, that together we're making the journey. And if you see me every day smiling and everything's wonderful, and think it's okay, then I'm lying to you. So, to be perfectly honest, I'm having a totally crappy day. Today would have been Sammy and Peter's 6th anniversary. And for those who don't know, she is my granddaughter. And come June, she will have passed away 3 years ago. So they were actually only married 3 years, but today would have been their anniversary. So when I woke up with that memory heavy in my heart, we were all, very excited about the future and everything that lay ahead of us. And then it did not take long to 3 years till she passed away. Because change, and this is the title of this series of videos that we're doing together, is, our Corona confinement and making it through metaphysics. So metaphysically, thoughts link together, and one link makes another link, makes another link. So when I got up this morning and had the realization it would have been Sammy and Peter's anniversary, and then I hurt because, she passed away, and then I hurt because Tristan was moved to Florida, my great grandson, and then then all the negative thoughts start to come in. See, that's the way it works. And then you get out of bed and you go, okay, shake it off, and I'm gonna make my breakfast and turn on the news. And I did, and of course turning on the like totally a bummer. So it didn't take long for my day to go backward and then downhill. And I said, oh, I don't know, maybe I just won't do today. But if I'm not showing you how I'm making it through metaphysics, how will you ever know, right? Starting the video too, because Tishy had to yak up a hairball right when it was time to start. Is it one of those days or what? So anyway, I want to share with you, I shared with you about, Sammy and everything, and why that was bringing me down today. And another part that really brings me down and upsets me is that humankind tends to be, especially in America, because we are so blessed and we have so much, and that people are complaining about they want to get back out there with no regard to whether or not it's actually safe. It's like, I want to get out there. And then people are whining about cabin fever and quarantine fatigue. And I'm not going to say it's easy. I'm not going to say that at all. You don't realize it till you want to run to the store and go, oh no, I can't do that, but if people cannot handle this for 6 to 8 weeks only. That's all it's been so far, folks. I mean, it may sound like it's been 100 years, but it's only been, this is going into, we just completed our 6th week tomorrow. So that just bothers me, that how can people put themselves first? Yes, we need to care for ourselves. We need to be self-caring, self-appreciating, self-loving. But when that starts to lean to narcissism, and I want what I want regardless of what's good for the greater whole, you know, you got something going on there. And you know that old thing, I don't know if you ever heard it about, don't ever, you know, pet a cat backward because it just gives them that creepy feeling. Or if you ever wore your hair in a ponytail, then at the end of the day, you take it out, and when your hair goes back to normal, it's like, ow, 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 ow. Well, that's how I feel. I think that's the way it is for an enlightened person to face. And you're enlightened, or you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be looking on now. It's hard for an enlightened person to look at people that choose ignorance and not be frustrated by it. I'm very frustrated about voluntary ignorance, which is people that know the right thing to do but choose not to do it. I'm very weary, I feel, you don't say I am, say I feel very weary about the people, the lack, if you actually talk to someone about lack of basic information that people have. They make jokes about it with the man on the street interviews on TV and stuff like that. But the degree of ignorance, I'm not the most educated person in the world, but there's a lot of things people basically should know about who certain people are in the news and stuff like that. So that was weighing on me. So it's like this, and this. And when you know a higher truth, that's the thing. When you know a higher truth, and it doesn't seem anyone's interested, that just like makes my hair stand up on end. Not that my hair is in great shape, but it makes it stand up on end, which doesn't make it any better. And therefore, as I started out, I am having a pretty crappy day. So how does metaphysics change this? Well, one of the first things is knowing that the thoughts we hold in our mind, if we hold them long enough and connect our feelings to them, they will manifest. And that was proof in my waking up and my thought about what was, what I missed, what happened 6 years ago, and then bam, 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 and the thoughts just come down and down and down. So we have to figure out how to bring them back up and up and up. So that's the first thing. When we understand that if we keep holding these thoughts, we're going to only feel worse. So we have to let go of those thoughts. If we want to be whole and well and healthy, we've got to let go of those. Sometimes that's not easy, especially once they're pulling. Nothing's going to change the fact of what happened, a few years ago when I lost Sammy. Nothing's going to change that, but I have to change my thoughts and think about all the good things. Right now, excuse me, got tears going on. Right now, when we think about the people that are healed as opposed to the people who are still suffering, we can certainly hold good thoughts about that. We can hold good thoughts about all the people that are staying home, staying safe, standing by each other, and the amazing things that are coming out of it, the wonderful things people are doing for each other. It's just magnificent. And those are the things. Yes, we had these bad experiences, but even then, sometimes we can't snap out of it. There's times when we need something else. We talked about this in the beginning of this series, but I'm thinking that you might not have seen those or what. There is a great value to having a good old-fashioned good cry. Did you ever have that feeling like, and sometimes we don't even know what it's about, or we don't recognize immediately what it's about, but you have a feeling of grief that builds it in you. Okay, so anyway, So sometimes you have to cry if you want to. It's like sometimes you have to puke. You get it out of your system. Sometimes you have to cry. You got to get it out of your system. That's a little bit of my plan for later today. And then I had this image this morning when I was in my prayer time, and I was thinking about negative thoughts getting into our heads, the news and all that stuff coming in, and how do you get it out? And I had the image of, if you're over 12 years old, you've seen this, and that is when they show sex education video, and it shows the egg, and then all the sperm are after that egg to get in to fertilize the egg to create life. Well, the same thing happens with our thoughts, that thoughts are everywhere present and would love to get into our minds. How do thoughts get into our minds? Through what we watch on television, through what people say to us, what we hear on the news, what we read, what we see going on out in the world. We have to build a strong base of what is acceptable to us, what is helpful to us, and what is not, and therefore block those little negative thought sperms from getting into our egg of consciousness. You got to use what works, and that works for me. So there are thoughts everywhere, and that's what people have to understand. It's our choice. Thoughts will come to us. It's our choice whether to let them in or not, whether to let them fertilize in our brain and create something in our world. So whatever you let in, that's why you have to be careful. What are you watching on TV? What are you listening to? What are your conversations about? Because those thoughts are getting into your mind. Now, here's a really important part. We talked earlier about problems versus projects. If we look at something like a problem, it seems like it's going to go on forever and ever. But if we look at something as a project, it's something we can complete. But how do we look at that project? What kind of a project is it going to be? We have to understand that our problems or projects, for the most part, they're human problems, and they can't be solved with human solutions. We are here on planet Earth to learn. We learn through our experiences, okay? When we try to find human solutions to our human problems, we're just going to create more human problems. Therefore, we need to look for spiritual solutions to our human problems. Sometimes I've got to think of a way. Okay, this is a good one. Have you seen those commercials on TV where they say, "Have you got too much debt? We're going to help you. You can consolidate your debt. We're going to give you a big bunch of money, pay off those debts." Of course, you're going to have a new debt. They're just all lumped together now. And you know what a lot of people do? Once they get all that stuff, all that debt lumped together, their payment goes down. What do you think they do? They start spending more. That is a human solution to a spiritual problem. How cards are our spiritual problem? It absolutely is. Because we have to understand the law of cause and effect. What we give, what we receive keeps following. If we have thoughts of irresponsibility financially, if we're not being financially prudent, we will never have money in the lottery. If we are prudent and we spend our money wisely and we save a little bit of money wisely, see, look at the way God does it. nature, what do you want to call it? Okay, I've said this before. You can count the seeds in a tomato, but you can't count those in a seed. God makes everything for abundance. So, for no waste. Everything, like the seeds, if you don't eat that tomato and it falls off and it fall apart, man, the birds are over there, they're getting those seeds and they're getting the tomato, and then they go flying off somewhere and get broken up and digested. They fall someplace else and new sprouts of tomatoes. I'll tell you something. If you've ever had a garden, you'll find stuff all over the yard and you go like, I didn't plant that. Where'd that come from? But you see, that's about abundance. Humans tend to want to collect because they've got this feeling if they collect enough, they'll have enough. But if you've got a consciousness that says, I don't have enough, you're never going to have enough. Therefore, you have a human problem. Our human problems. Did you ever watch I Love Lucy? I mean, if you haven't, take that as a spiritual prescription. Lucy was out there all the time trying to solve human problems with human solutions. It's one of the reasons why, as much as people, they might complain about, oh, the Bible's old, the Bible isn't relevant, the Bible, blah, blah. You know what? They got a lot of spiritual answers to human problems. We can look at the 10 Commandments. That's a perfect example of it. Everything there lines up with a spiritual problem. If we look at, let's say, let me think. Okay, let's say the first commandment. I am the Lord thy God. Thou shalt have no strange gods before me. Okay, so the word God, metaphysically, represents good. So, this is saying, I am the Lord, which also means law, which also refers to the law of cause and effect. Your God. If you add another O to God, you got good. I am the Lord your God. I am the law. You're good. Don't put anything false behind me. In front of me. Don't make a false god. The 2 false gods that I talk about in my book, Rise of the False Gods, the master 2, Mammon, which is money and materialism, which is ego and carnality. So we're saying, I'm not going to say my bank, because God is my source. That's my good. Handle I'm given with respect. That is good. Not respecting the good that I have is only going to bring me less good. It's amazing. It works all the time. Okay, so let's get back to the fact that I'm having a very bad day. And I am. And I'm so glad I can smile despite it. Too many people are spoiled today, privileged. We live a life that other people could only dream of. Even in very, very low income. I've been there. Let me tell you something, my friends. I have been on AFDC before. I had to do that period of time, but I had to do it. I've done food stamps. I know what it's like to do food stamps. And I did food stamps when I was working and had a good life. So no matter how much money you've got, we're still privileged in this country. We really are. And when we are, yes, there are people that aren't. And yes, I understand there are people that have horrible, but there are so many that have, and they don't even realize what they have. So that was another reason I was crabby today. Cabin fever, man, it's like being at home where you're safe and you got your family and stuff around you. That's great. To have all these complaints, quarantine fatigue, they got a new name for it. We have to get over ourselves. We are children of God. We are strong. We are powerful. We can do it. We also have to learn we are one, and we can do it best when we do it together, when we help each other. and there's plenty of opportunity to do that. So as I was thinking about my sadness and everything today, and the words to songs come to me. I don't sing, I'm not like a singer. I sing around the house sometimes, as long as there's nobody there that can hear me. But I find words to songs are as powerful in my life as the Bible, for better and worse. Sometimes they hear me, whoa, no, that one's not anything I want. But the word came from, I think the song was called I Am Woman. And it says, the part of the lyrics say, yes, I am wise, but it's wisdom earned from pain. Yes, I paid the price, but look how far I came. Through our pain, sticking to doing the right thing, holding right thoughts, practicing love, practicing generosity, practicing those 12 spiritual gifts we've been talking about. That's what makes us strong. We need an arsenal. We are in a battle, whether we like to admit it or not, whether it's in our own lives, our household, our communities, our government. We are in a battle of the light, which is enlightenment, against the dark, which is ignorance. And in the light and knowing that the main law is cause and effect, let us think. We need a helmet. And a helmet protects what? Our head, our brain, and spiritually speaking, our thoughts. It also says that we need to put on the full armor, which includes a breastplate. The breastplate, metaphysically or spiritually, protects the heart, which is the emotions. So if we protect our mind and our emotions from negative thoughts by facing them with truth, God is, you can count on good bringing good. You can count on the story having a good ending, no matter what it might look like at the moment. So how are you solving your problems? Are you solving them the human way or the spiritual way? Do your projects back that up? Projects are the actions we take. So the circumstances might be the problems. The actions we take are the projects. I have a project for today. First of all, I am trying to find center. And at one point, I will really need to deal with the grief that is bubbling up inside of me, about, Sammy passing away and the fact that today is their anniversary and stuff like that. So I will need to actually face that down at some point today. You can't ignore your pain. If you ignore your pain, it's still there, okay? It's like having a splinter. If you don't get it out of there, it's going to get pussy and could infect your whole body. So, yeah, the grief has to come out. I will also brood, which we've explored before. The word brood means to hatch, to think, to let our thoughts germinate. I've already done some journaling. I may do some yelling. And I've got a philosophy about this that's really important. If you don't feel like doing it, do it anyway. Yes, there's times when we want to pull back, go in our corner, do our grieving, do our yelling, do our stuff. Then we have to do something. So here's what I do, and I hope you think about it. And it's how I will continue to make it through the corona confinement. And that is to give myself a chunk of time to lick my wounds, for lack of a better word. And when that time is up, then go do it. Do something. It's not even, do something. It doesn't matter always what it is. I will get up and go and see if I can find three puzzle pieces on the puzzle I'm working on. When I'm looking at that puzzle for that little bit of time, I'm not thinking about the pain in my heart. So today was rather scattered, which I hope you know is not like me. We are here on the planet to learn. A part of the learning has to do with our grief, which is needing to be addressed. We acknowledge loss. A part of it is to deal with our anger, with our frustration, but not to deal with it in human ways, to deal with it in spiritual ways. Not is everybody is where we are, and we are not where some other people who are more advanced on their path are. We can only be who we are, where we are. But I call you out to do the right thing because you know what the right thing to do is. Anger, grief, sadness, angst, those are all symptoms. They might be human symptoms, but they're human symptoms of a problem or a project that has a spiritual solution. If you have any questions about that, don't hesitate to private message me, email me at reveille@aol.com. I know I was kind of scattered today, but I thank you for sharing today. I want you to know that your being there made it easier. And I know, just like it says, it came to pass, not to stay. Keep me in your thoughts today as I walk through some tough memories. And I'll see you tomorrow. I will probably have makeup on and everything. And I know that I'll be in a better place. How do I know that? Because I practice the principles. Have a great day. God bless you. And when you're in the darkest part of the day, remember, there will be joy in the morning. Bye-bye.